Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel, and this video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous 12 hours. We have lots of very interesting updates, so let's start. And according to information we have, most likely the decision to send Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine has been made by the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Today we have, or Donald Trump and his office has a very busy day because a lot of things should be resolved today and tomorrow, and the meeting between Trump and Zelensky should be prepared. According to the information we have, head of Zelensky's office Andriy Yermak and the National Security Secretary Rustam Umerov, who are in Washington, met with representatives of American defense companies, the manufacturers of Tomahawk cruise missiles. According to information we have, Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky will meet tomorrow on Friday at the White House, and during this meeting they're going to talk most likely just about Tomahawk missiles and how to force Russians to sit for the negotiation table. So what exactly the United States of America are going to send to Ukraine? The sources are saying that states will send 20 or 50 missiles, Tomahawk missiles, and most likely the United States of America will provide this vehicle. This is not just a vehicle, this is a Tomahawk launcher. So as initially stated, the new US launcher series was designed as unmanned vehicles. This means in addition to versatility of the launcher's arsenal, which can fire both anti-aircraft and cruise missiles, another advantage, it is autonomy. Furthermore, we got it is reported that a single operator can control 1 to 6 deep fire vehicles, assigning them endpoints. So we believe that most likely up to 5 or 6 vehicles of this type could be sent to Ukraine. Just the group, and 20-50 missiles will be enough for this group to attack deep inside of the territory of the Russian Federation for another month or something like this. As of now, this is a very important question for Ukraine because they suffer huge losses, huge problems with their critical infrastructure and energy infrastructure. For example, we got report that 2 Kyiv thermal power plants went completely offline after a massive strike on Friday, but the Russians are attacking every day. He cited this at the cost of the power problems in the capital in recent days. Ukraine is not prepared for either attacks or power outages. Another important thing that was published during the previous night, a blackout has occurred through Ukraine, except for parts of Chernigov region. The Minister of Energy of Ukraine is reporting emergency outages. Citizens are urged to conserve electricity and avoid using elevators to avoid getting stuck. So the problem and the idea of Zelensky and Kiev is that when they get these Tomahawk missiles, of course they will not attack every single building across the Russian Federation. Probably they will attack several power facilities or energy infrastructural objects just to show Russians that they currently have weapon to attack the critical infrastructure of the Russian Federation. So basically Tomahawk missiles are not going to be a weapon to attack deep inside of the territory of the Russian Federation. This is going to be more like guarantees that Russians will not attack the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. So maybe this is an idea, but saying the truth, I believe that this is not going to work. During the previous night, for example, the Russians carried out another massive drone and missile attack across Ukraine. Powerful attacks on Ukrainian targets in Chernigov and Kharkiv. Energy and gas infrastructure facilities are under attack. In these photos and in these videos, we can see the consequences of the previous night's attack that was carried out by the Russian Federation. And the sources are saying that this time the Russians were attacking not just energy facilities, the Russians were attacking gas facilities and gas transportation facilities. This video we got from the Poltava region, and according to information we have, the Russians managed to destroy completely the gas production facility of Ukraine. So we see that Russians are trying not just to destroy electricity, they're trying to cut gas supply to houses of regular Ukrainian civilians. So everything is being done by Russia just with one purpose: to force Ukrainians to accept Russian demands and to capitulate. And Zelensky understands that if he doesn't get these Tomahawk missiles, if he doesn't able to stop Russians with Tomahawk missiles, then most likely Ukraine or Zelensky will not be able to survive during the upcoming winter, which is going to be one of the coldest winter for the previous years. Now let's move further and let's discuss the situation on the ground. And first, let's talk about the Zaporozhye direction where Russians continue their offensive operation. During the previous 12 hours, we got several videos that clarify the situation on the ground. This video came from the Poltavka area, from the Poltavka fortified area, and here we can see how Ukrainians were attacking Russians in this building. So based on this video, we came to the conclusion that this part of the settlement of Okhotniche, which is located on the Russian side of the river of Yanchul, is in the complete control of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. So as you can see, we've made just a small correction of map based on the video published by Ukraine Resources. Several neutral mappers reported that during the previous 12 hours, the Russians managed to improve their position significantly in the north and Zaporozhye direction. So just yesterday, according to information we have, the Russians managed to capture the settlement of Alexeyevka, and yesterday Russians published this video where we can see how exactly the Russians were capturing this territory. And today, according to different mappers, as we can see, we get additional changes on the ground. The Russians are advancing further in the northern direction. Furthermore, today, pro-Russian resources affiliated with the Group of Forces East published a very interesting article in their Telegram channel. They were suggesting Ukrainians from the village of Poltavka, from the settlement of Uspenovka, from the settlement of Velikomikhailovka, Aristopol, and Gavrilovka to surrender. And they provided them a short instruction how to do this. So based on this, we can make a conclusion that the Russians are planning to continue their offensive operation further along this line of combat contact, starting from the settlement of Poltavka and ending with the village by the name of Gavrilovka. So most likely the Russians are tasked to capture these territories in coming days, months, and so that is why they began probably working with Ukrainian soldiers in this area, trying to probably first of all save their soldiers' lives and then to provide additional security and guarantees to these Ukrainian soldiers who are defending these territories. Now let's move further and let's talk about the Pokrovsk direction. During the previous 12 hours, small changes were recorded also in the southern part of the settlement along M30 road. According to information we have, the Russians managed to capture railways between the settlements of Gnatovka and Novoukrayevka Chenyshina. I would like to remind you that just yesterday, the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation reported that the village of Novopavlovka was captured by the armed forces of the Russian Federation, and the Russian resources published this video. And today we see that the Russians managed to capture the village itself and the territories around. So the southern part of the city of Pokrovsk is collapsing, as we can see, and most likely in coming weeks Ukrainians would be forced to abandon completely positions in the southern part of the city, and they will try to organize defense along the railways that cuts the city of Pokrovsk into pieces. As for the eastern flank, during the previous 12 hours, we haven't received anything special from this direction, but we believe that today we're going to receive lots of very interesting videos and updates. I would like to remind you that during the previous days, the Russians managed to capture at least 2 villages in this area in the eastern part of the Pokrovsk agglomeration to the southeast of the settlement of Mirnograd, so we are waiting for additional updates from this territory as well. Now let's talk about the area of breakthrough. During the previous 12 hours, the pro-Ukraine resources published lots of very interesting updates and articles regarding the situation in this region. So according to pro-Ukraine resources, the armed forces of Ukraine continued their counter-offensive operation in this part, and as a result of counter-offensive, the Ukrainians managed to improve their positions by taking under control some territories to the west of area of breakthrough. So this is the map by the end of the 15th of October, and this is the map by the beginning of the 16th of October. We have adjusted the map, as you can see, based on this report, but we have some doubts. So we see that this offensive operation, or this counter-offensive operation of the armed forces of Ukraine, started at the same time with talks and negotiations regarding Tomahawk missiles and Zelensky's visit to Washington. This is going to take place tomorrow on Friday. So we believe that these adjustments and this counter-offensive operation operation could be just a counter-offensive operation on the paper and in the media, just with the purpose to show NATO countries and Western probably sponsors and the United States of America that Ukraine can counterattack, they can continue offensive operation. But obviously everything is going to become clear the next Monday, because on Friday most likely Donald Trump will announce Tomahawk missile transfer, and then there's going to be no need to continue counteroffensive and the Ukrainians will stop, and then we'll see what is going to be next. Now let's move further and let's talk about the Liman direction. During the previous 12 hours, we received very interesting video from the city by the name of Izum. In this video, we can see how Russians attacked the military truck of the armored forces of Ukraine with Lancet. So as you can see, this attack took place very deep inside of the Ukrainian positions, which means that the Russians controlled the city of Izum with drone with intelligence, and as soon as they discovered the movement of military equipment, the Russians destroyed this immediately. As for the Kharkiv direction, the most important updates, the second or the third time in a row, are coming from the city of Volchansk. The Russians managed to improve their position significantly. During the previous days, lots of resources reported that the Russians are about to get to the road to T21A404. And so this information was also confirmed by pro-Russian resources and by neutral mappers. As we can see, the Russians are moving further, and the Russians are about to cut the eastern part of the city of Volchansk from the mainland. The battle for this territory is continuing, but obviously this battle is coming to its final stage. And that's it for the short video. Military with Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.